As you can see, there's a lot of ice behind us and our noses are pink. That means one thing.
Yeah.
It's winter now. We're in the middle of downtown Minneapolis. I guess it's a little harder to show you guys, but we just thought we'd vlog a little bit just to kind of show you guys the snow around here, the cold, and a little bit of the holiday lights that they have on.
Yeah. We have little Christmas lights on the trees. We're near the orchestra hall currently. And this is kind of just like a little bus street behind us. And there's this one in here is cars, but buses are only one allowed, I think, on this one there. And things like that. So yeah, it's a nice little spot in the downtown. Downtown is kind of like, if you keep going that way, we're kind of in the area already, but there's more down there.
There's actually the headquarter to Target over there, and the Target that we go to is where I got the Christmas gifts, and just anytime that we go grocery shopping, honestly, that's the Target that we go to, just because it's easier for us. Yeah, we live literally walking distance from here. It's about 10 minutes away, so this is just an easy way. What did we do just now?
We went to Chipotle and got the buy one get one Thanksgiving special, I guess.
Yeah.
The day before Thanksgiving, Chipotle is doing the thing, which literally right now, so I don't know when everyone else will see it, but yeah. So we got our Chipotle.
Got it to go.
This is the leftover. Yeah, I walked over. It's not too bad of a walk. It's very nice. So I have this whole little plaza down here. Yeah.
This is nice. Honestly, we've never walked here before. We've passed by it a lot of times, but never actually walked through it. I imagine on a day that it's not as windy, it would be a lot nicer to walk through.
Facing this way is better. So the wind's coming from behind us.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. That is true. Yeah. Oh, I think the cafe next to us, or the pub next to us, has like a Christmas thing going on. Look at all those lights.
I think that's...
Is that the pub?
Oh, upstairs is the pub, yes. Downstairs, I think, is a reflection of the trees.
Oh, I see.
You're seeing the glass reflecting.
Gotcha.
They do have some Christmas stuff in there.
Yeah,
just not as much. They have the upstairs section where it's all colorful. Is them, I believe.
Yeah. It's a British pub. I think it's literally called Brits Pub. Yeah, that's what it is. But we've gone there in the summer, and I guess this is one of the few places around here that's going to be doing like a holiday kind of bar. Do you think we would do one of those?
Holiday bar?
Yeah, like go into one of those like holiday cocktail places. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But
yeah, it's getting cold, so we just wanted to peek in real quick. That's all. Hi everyone. This is just a random video that I wanted to post. There's not much going on this week. It is Thanksgiving week of all things, but again, we don't really have all that many plans. So I don't know if you guys saw in my last video, there were some cookies that you might have seen in the Christmas montage after I decorated, and I just thought I'd post a video of how to make them. They are pumpkin spice snickerdoodles, which are my favorite type of cookie, but the pumpkin spice really gives it that kind of like fall flavor / I guess a little bit of Christmas flavor to it. On top of, just wanting to make them in general, I do have still like a half or more of a can of pumpkin puree, so I thought this would be a good way to get rid of some of that. I actually might give them to Pedro's coworkers just as a gift, just because we've been eating too many cookies by ourselves. So yeah, this is going to be just kind of an instruction video on that. The recipe I found on TikTok. So I'll also post a link of the recipe on the description, just if you guys want to see how she does it. There are slight alterations that I made to it just for ingredients that I had in my cabinet versus theirs, on top of the fact that Pedro is lactose intolerant. So things like butter or dairy, they're gonna have to be substituted, or else his stomach is gonna hurt afterwards, and I don't wanna do that to him. So yeah, enjoy this video and we'll get started. I guess first things first, I should put my hair up. So, let's see. No, I personally am just gonna bring out the wispies because I feel like I look super old when I don't. So don't mind the bangs. Also, if you have or haven't noticed, this is pajamas that I got from Taylor Swift's merch store. This is from the Life of the Showgirl collection, which the past week, I don't think it was this week, but past one, she had like this whole, she had this whole skew of like merch that she was dropping for it, her holiday collection, I guess. I fell for it. I had to get the pajamas, and I will say that they're super comfy. Actually, I guess just as a random thing, I did also get this little snow globe from her Eras tour. It's super cute, and it's much bigger than I thought it would be. But I mean, because I went to a couple of her shows during her tour, I just had to get this. And I mean, again, like, it's really cute. It has like a glitter kind of effect instead of like a snowy effect, which, look at that. It's like a piano. You can see like the logo in the front. Really good detail. I love it. And it's battery powered because not only is it, just like a snow globe, it also plays her music. So you'll see it here. That might be a little bit loud, and it's like the whole song I hear. So really fun. But I'm going to turn that off now though, just so there's no issues there. But yeah, that was just something that I had to show because it's like something that I keep on the fridge now, along with this little memorabilia that I have from the August show that she had in London. This was actually a show that I went to for my birthday. She played a show in London on a Saturday on my birthday, August 17th, which, I mean, for so many reasons, I had to go. If you're a Swiftie, you might understand why I needed to go to that one, specifically in London. But yeah, I had a great time. And you can see just like a little stuff that I have here. Some confetti that came from the show, the logo from her tour. This is her wristband that came with it, which I will say the little light up part of it did fall off. And then some like little friendship bracelets that I collected along the way. And I also put in like a little detail of the day that I went and what song she played during her surprise song section, just in like little friendship bead decoration. So there's that. That's enough of my Taylor Swift rant. I'm gonna put this away now. Okay, so getting started on the cookie recipe. I guess for ingredients, the things that you're gonna need to make approximately 24 cookies, so it's a lot. And again, I'm making a lot because I'm just basically gonna give them to Petra's coworkers. 1 cup of butter. You're gonna need 2/3 cups of pumpkin puree. It's best to dehydrate it as much as you can, which it's on a plate right here. I basically just used a bunch of paper towels and just pressed it on just to kind of get rid of the moisture. Otherwise it's gonna ruin the balance of flour to butter to sugar ratio, make it a little bit more watery than you'd like. So make sure that you dehydrate that as much as you can. You'll need a 1/2 cup of sugar, which I just use cane sugar. That's what we have. I didn't notice any difference when I was baking it, so just any kind of sugar that you have. You'll also need brown sugar, which I use light, again, because it's more common for me to have in my pantry. If you want something that's a little richer, you can use a dark brown sugar, but light brown worked just as well for me. You'll need 2 egg yolks, which I'll show you a little bit how to kind of separate the egg whites versus the yolk. 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which I'm eyeballing a lot of these teaspoons. We'll see how that impacts the baking. 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar, which is not as common of an ingredient, but I found this just, again, at the local grocery store. It was about $2-3, so pretty easy to find and also pretty cheap, at least for the brand that I found. And lastly, just 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Just a pinch, just to bring out all the flavors from the fall ingredients that you're bringing in. Since they're snickerdoodles, you'll also have a little mixture of sugar and cinnamon just to kind of sprinkle on top. I personally just eyeball that. She does include on the original TikTok the amount that you want to, divide each ingredient. But again, I personally eyeball that. And as my own little add, I do also put in a little bit of nutmeg, not a lot, just like a pinch, just to give a little bit more of a fall flavoring to it. But with that, we're gonna get started. Let's see here. Oh, if I didn't say before, the oven is gonna need to be preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. That's how long it's gonna take to bake the cookies. 12 to 15 minutes is gonna be how long you'll bake them, but make sure to preset that, otherwise you're going to hate yourself. So this is future me looking out for past me. So I have my semi-melted butter. It's not, you know, melted in the microwave or heated up by any means, just softened so you can take it out of the fridge. Just leave it out there for 30 minutes to an hour. So cup of butter, plant butter in my case, and then half a cup of regular sugar and half a cup of brown sugar. And you're gonna cream them together. So just soften everything up by mixing it all together. Okay, and then after a bit of mixing, you'll see that the butter and the sugar starts looking like this kind of paste, like this, just kind of all smoothed, a little light brown color to it. Once that's ready to go, we'll just leave that to set together. And then here's where I'm going to split the ingredients in half, because don't judge me, I only have normal bowls to mix any kind of ingredients with. That's just because I'm lazy to buy baking ingredients. And I mean, we don't really cook or bake here. This is more just whenever I feel like it, which is kind of rare. So I've never thought of the idea of buying baking ingredients or baking supplies. So I'm going to split my butter slash sugar mixture into 2 of these bowls so that whenever I mix the dry ingredients, everything will fit together and it's not just like flying up everywhere and hardly able to fit in the bowl. So let me just mix that together now. And so I've got everything separated out into the 2 separate bowls. Next, you're gonna put the egg yolk, the vanilla, and the pumpkin puree, of course, duh, that's gonna make it taste like pumpkin spice. So I don't know whether to show you over the kitchen counter or how, but essentially if you want to just separate the egg yolk from the egg white, what you're gonna do is you're gonna crack an egg, make sure to keep 2 pieces separated at least, and over a sink, over the trash can, over wherever that's not near your ingredients, you're just gonna move the yolk back and forth between both sides of the egg. Any egg white that falls off, just let it go. Just make sure to keep the egg yolk. And slowly and slowly, you're gonna get just an egg yolk without any egg white on it. So I guess, let me see if I can try to show you, but this might be a little bit difficult. We have our egg, 1 egg. Just gonna crack that as normal. And then, again, make sure to keep the 2 sides separated. And then already there's some egg white that's coming out, so I'm just gonna let that drip, maybe even help it along. There we go, that's already a lot of it. And then just still see the egg yolk here. You're gonna go just back and forth, just kind of putting it between the 2 egg shells, and any egg white that comes off, again, just let it go. You don't want that. It gives it a little bit more froth when you do. If you see that the egg yolk tears inside of the eggshell, that's okay as long as you actually keep the egg yolk part. One side is bigger than the other, and there are also some pretty sharp pieces on either side. So I imagine that's why mine is breaking. But again, as long as you preserve the actual yolk white part or yellow part, you'll be okay. So there you go. Just one, mostly 1 piece of an egg yolk right there. So let's go ahead and put this back into our ingredients. I went ahead and already put the egg yolk in each of the bowls just because they were broken and it was getting a little messy to try to talk, move, and, you know, continue on with the recipe as normal. So sorry that I didn't include that, but hopefully I taught you how to separate an egg white from an egg yolk. Now you're gonna do 1 or 2 teaspoons of vanilla, basically 1 teaspoon for one, teaspoon for another. This is where I'm eyeballing. So nobody yell at me in the comments or yell at me from your home about how much I'm putting in. I'm doing my best because I don't have any kind of small measuring sticks like for teaspoons or tablespoons. So I'm just using this lid. So one lid is going to go in each one. First one down. And second one. There. Just easy vanilla extract you can get from your local grocery store. Nothing fancy, at least in my kitchen. And then once again, you're going to take your pumpkin puree and just add it to the mixture, the wet ingredients, making sure to dehydrate it. So pat it with a paper towel, get rid of as much moisture as you can. Otherwise, it can impact the moisture in the cookies, and we don't want them to be too soggy. I already split the first half, so I'm just gonna put the second half from this plate into the second bowl mixture. Oh, and you might hear a growling Vance. A growling Vance looking out for some strangers. All right, that's pumpkin puree in both bowls. Let's just mix that one more time just to make sure that all the wet ingredients are mixed in together. Now, as I'm mixing, just little musings that I have, there are little things that may intimidate me at times, or maybe even intimidate you while you're baking, just, no matter how experienced you are, such as things like, I didn't know that there were such things as like pumpkin puree versus just, 100% pure pumpkin. Maybe that's just a way that they process things. Maybe there is a specific difference in them. I like to say that, nothing should intimidate you from trying things such as baking or cooking. If it doesn't come out right the first time, that's okay. It's nobody's perfect, and nothing's going to come out perfect all the time. For example, before I made these pumpkin cookies, I actually made normal snickerdoodles and, just followed a basic recipe the same way that I did for this TikTok video that I was following. And lo and behold, when I put them in the oven, I found out that I put too much, I put too much of a glob of dough per cookie. And so as it was baking, they all just kind of separated and turned basically into this kind of like cookie sheet pan. Not only that, they were also very dry because I imagine I didn't put enough, or I put too much flour actually, because I kept adding and adding because I just kept thinking like, this isn't sticky. It's not sticking to my hands. It's just very goopy and like too sticky. So yeah, I mean, Pedro still tried them. Bless his heart. He said that they were really good. I thought that they weren't that good. They were too crunchy in my opinion. But I mean, that doesn't stop me from wanting to try things like baking. If I see something that I think is going to taste good and that I would love to try, I'm still going to do it. And, these pumpkin puree snickerdoodles can be a good example of that because they're multiple different ingredients mixed together, and some are a little bit new than, just regular cookies. But whether you're an experienced baker or whether this is your first time baking, I hope that this instruction video can inspire you to try something new because, just the act of trying can feel very accomplishing at times. Just knowing that you gave something a good go, whether it came out perfect or not. So that's exactly how I felt when making cookies because it has been a long time since I've baked. But I will say, I do love baking. When I have ingredients and when I have the time, I love to bake. So it's been nice to get back into that little routine of stuff and, trying out new recipes in the kitchen and seeing people's reactions when I try or when I let them try it, whether it be a good reaction or not. I love, just kind of say that I gave it a good go. So I hope that you guys enjoy this recipe as I'm mixing these ingredients together. That's just my little midway baking rant. All right, Now that we've got the wet ingredients mixed together, pumpkin puree, vanilla, butter, sugar, brown sugar, and egg yolks, we're gonna move on to the dry ingredients. So again, I'm gonna be giving whole ingredients here, but bear with me, I'm going to be separating them into 2 separate bowls. So just kind of ignore my halving if you have a big enough bowl for your ingredients. But for the dry ingredients, we're gonna do 2 cups of flour, which so far I only have 1. I'm just putting 1 into each of my 2 bowls since I separated both of them out for the size. So that's cup number 1 for bowl number 1. And then cup number 2 and bowl number 2. You'll notice that mine is just in a cup. It's not pre-sifted, it's not leveled out. If you want to do that, that's fine, and I'm sure that will make your cookies that much cleaner, more even, things like that. My kitchen is not perfect, so I do not have a sifter to level out and, you know, sift the flour. So I'm just throwing it all in a bowl. Again, if you just want to try things and you don't have the right materials, still try it. You can try it with little things like a cup, bowls, and just see how it works for you. It could turn out great. So you're gonna want 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. Again, that means 1 teaspoon in each of my bowls, but as a whole, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. And then you're gonna want 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So half and half is gonna go into each of mine. This is where I actually feel like I messed up last time, because if you saw my cookies, they were pretty fluffy, which makes me think that I added too much baking powder. But again, I don't have smaller measuring tools, so I'm just kind of eyeballing this. So I'm just gonna add a little bit and just kind of go from there. I feel like that's enough. Half a teaspoon in each bowl. Okay, that's good enough. Okay. And then 1 whole teaspoon of cream of tartar, which I'm splitting in half again for each of my bowls. I actually don't know what this does. I don't know what cream of tartar is, but I did see it on the recipe, and I mean, it tasted good when I was done with the recipe, so I assume that it does a good job. If anybody knows what it does in your recipes, let me know. I would love to know, but I'm just a little bit too lazy to research that right now. And then lastly, for the dry ingredients, you're gonna want half a teaspoon of salt. So it's just a pinch in each of the bowls that I have. If you have a measuring cup, this is probably a perfect time to use it so that you don't over salt your mixture. Okay, that is enough. So now you have your dry ingredients and your wet ingredients. Next step is just to mix them all together. Okay. That is bowl number 1 mixed up together. You'll see that it looks like this little orangish, brownish paste. As a spoiler, the next part is going to include you know, grabbing or handling the cookie dough. And the best indication for it being done is it not sticking to your fingers. These are the ingredients that I followed from the recipe. And when I did it, when I tried to roll the cookies immediately after mixing everything, everything was still sticking on my hands. Don't do what I did last time and add more baking powder / flour. You don't need to do that. What you can do instead is just stick the cookie mixture in the fridge for 20 to 30 minutes, do something else, wash your hands, wash any bowls that you already got messy, and just let it chill for a bit. Letting it chill will help mend the ingredients together 10 times more than just trying to add more ingredients. Otherwise, you're gonna have a lot more cookies and they're not gonna taste as fresh and as flavorful as what the recipe entails. So I'm just gonna stick this in the fridge. I'm going to mix the second half of the bowl, and then I'm gonna walk Vance because it's almost 9, if not already 9 p.m. And he hasn't peed yet for the night. So this will be a good opportunity for me to just let the cookie dough cool down. All right, just came back from our walk and it is snowing, like proper snowing outside. This is actually probably the first real snow of the season. It did like flurry a little bit a couple weeks ago, I think maybe in October, but it was like a light flurry and like it was there, but by the morning it had just kind of melted away by noon. this looks like it might stick, at least for a full day or two. So needless to say, my hair got messed up. I'm putting it down for the rest of this since there's not really a lot of mixing or any kind of like powders that I need to be conscious about. But in that time, not only did I walk Vance, I also went ahead and prepped some of my baking, I guess, tools. Part of that being the snickerdoodle mixture that you're going to sprinkle your cookies with. I just put it in the same measuring cup that I use to measure my flour and all the other dry ingredients. Again, just kind of preserve how many plates and dishware that I'm gonna have to clean after this. But again, the recipe itself will tell you how much measuring there is between sugar and cinnamon. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, so I know that it's more sugar than cinnamon. So this is how much I have. You'll see that it kind of looks like brown sugar, but when you smell it, it doesn't smell like brown sugar. This is cinnamon, sugar, and I personally like to add just a touch of nutmeg just to kind of give it that extra spice at the end, because since you're adding pumpkin puree, you might as well have a little bit of spice to it. And on top of that, I also oiled my, or sprayed my baking sheet with a baking spray. You can also line it with butter, any leftover butter that you have from your cooking materials, just anything to kind of grease up the pan so that way the cookies don't stick to it. So I've got this rolled out. Take your snickerdoodle mixture and just kind of roll it around a little bit. Just let the sugar, cinnamon mixture, nutmeg, just kind of coat it until you feel like it's properly coated. That's at your discretion. It's okay if some of these sprinkles fall onto the baking sheet. It will help just kind of give a little bit more aromatic flavor to the cookies. And some people recommend to press your thumb into the middle just to kind of make sure that when the cookie is baking, it has enough, I guess, surface to just spread out instead of just being a ball and coming out into like random lumps. That did happen with my last batch, and so just kind of pressing in the middle will help it spread out more evenly. But let's go ahead and get the remaining 6 from this batch and get the first batch going. All right, that is the first batch of 6 that is ready for the oven. If you want, you can just add a little bit more of a sprinkle of the snickerdoodle mix to the top of it, just to give it a little bit of a crust while it's baking. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on top. And then into the oven they go for 12 to 15 minutes. You can check on them at the 12 mark and then just kind of see if they need a little bit more time and leave them in for the full 15 minutes if you need to. But here they go. That is that. I'm just gonna let that do its thing. And I don't know, probably in the meantime, I'm gonna watch maybe some Gilmore Girls. That is actually one of my sister's favorite shows, and another friend of mine just recommended that I started watching it because it has some good fall/winter vibes. So while those are baking, I'm just gonna put on a little bit of that, just kind of pass the time. So I went ahead and took the cookies out of the oven because I did forget to film that. But this is how they look after baking for about 14 minutes. I did give them a little bit of extra time just to see if they would deflate a little bit more. But this is how they look. You'll see that they are still a little fluffier than a normal cookie. So now I know that this isn't, a mistake that I made in the last time by adding too much baking powder because they were just as fluffy the last time too. So I'm not sure what might have done that. Maybe it's a pumpkin puree or maybe some other kind of ingredient. But I do know that that means that they are going to be really fluffy like the last time too, which is a good thing in my opinion. So yeah, I am going to put these on a plate, and since I do have 3 more batches to go, I'm just going to continue that without filming. That way I don't disturb anybody while they're sleeping. But I hope you guys like this recipe. I'm going to leave these on a plate to cool if you want to do the same while you're baking the rest of them. You can put some saran wrap over them, just to kind of preserve a little bit more of that moisture. But in case I don't film anything else this week, since it is Thanksgiving week, I hope you guys like this little tutorial. Maybe you can use it for your own Thanksgiving dessert. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a good week. Bye. All right. It's another day walking out in the snow. This time it's, I think, well, yeah, I mean, it's Thursday. It snowed on Tuesday night, but it's also Thanksgiving. So we're still here in Minneapolis, kind of spending an orphan's Thanksgiving, if you will. So we decided to go to a diner right next to us called Nicolette Diner. It's one of the first places that we tried here when we moved. So we just saw, I mean, I just called as a last minute question to ask if they were going to be open for it. They just so happened to be. And they also offered a Thanksgiving special. So you could have all the Thanksgiving food. They gave you pie, which, oh well, I don't think you can see it, but Pedro has in his hands.
Very excited for the pies.
Yes. What kind did you get?
We got a pecan pie, pumpkin, and then also apple. So we got a lot of pies, but the plan is to have throughout the weekend some pies. So
Yeah. You can see that our noses are again very cold. It's freezing here.
oh, yeah. It was a short walk, but now it was really cold. Let me see what the temperature is. It's 24 and it feels like 15. So
Yeah.
very cold.
Oh God, I hear from other people that it's the wind chill that gets you. Like it may feel like one temperature one way, but as you can see, it can feel colder purely because of the wind. And I think that's also something that was prevalent tonight. But what did you think of this Thanksgiving?
Well, it was good. It was very nice. And the food also very good. Happily surprised their Thanksgiving meal. They do have good food, but I was just surprised that they would have good Thanksgiving meal. And yeah, it's a nice day. Nice day off from work too.
Yeah, he gets Thursday and Friday off, so that's a very lucky thing on his end. I'm not so lucky. I have to work tomorrow, so. But yeah, we're back home in our apartment. Just wanted to give one last check-in before closing off the night. This is just a random thing. Our lobby has a fireplace, so whenever we do come in from the cold, I like to stand there and just kind of warm up. But I guess because the office is closed today, they didn't have it on or want to leave it on for the night. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone's having a good time. And yeah, enjoy the weekend.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.